A recent trip to Devon in England's southwest made for a visit to some fairly off-the-beaten-track Neolithic stones to bother. These particular stones, some of many in this part of the country, are shrouded in mystery, their history lost to the millennia. The not very megaliths are known, by default and by dint of their location, as the Canterbury Downs Standing Stones. Now this is an unloved site in terms of historical interest, with seemingly no desire for excavation or formal marking, but they highlight the widespread trend of standing stone construction, and they were obviously important to the Neolithic or early Bronze Age culture that put them up. When I arrived there were certainly some access issues, and plenty of inquisitive animals that have made this historic ritual site their home. So this is a bit of an impromptu one. I'm in North Devon. And I heard there was a Neolithic stone, Neolithic or Bronze Age, early Bronze Age stone close to where I was, where I'm staying. So I've been looking around to try and find it. And I've been to Stonehenge, I've been to Avebury, I've been to Stanton Drew, seen some incredible Neolithic monuments, megaliths, and here's the one I found here, but they all count. So don't know much about the history of this one, but there it is. Good to see it. There's a few bulls in the field, or at least one, so I'm not hanging around, and I'm wearing quite a brightly coloured, sort of almost red t-shirt underneath, so I've covered that one up. But yeah, here we are, somewhere in North Devon, Canterbury Downs, and I'm just keeping an eye out to make sure I'm not attacked by an angry animal. But as I say, they all count. Good to see. It turns out that I was hasty, and that the stone is actually part of a row, although the local cows took a real interest in my presence in their field, so I couldn't get too close. I was probably worrying for nothing, as, in hindsight, I don't think there was a bull in the field. That said, I wouldn't want to face an angry cow either, although I have previously had no problem with large herds at other Neolithic locations, such as Stanton Drew or the West Kennet Longbarrow, in Somerset and Wiltshire respectively. While the stone structures at this particular site may not appear overly impressive, they did make me think of an eerie local legend I read about in a little seaside book rack purchase I made while I was in Devon. The legend goes, in the words of Thomas Westcott, 1630, a daily labouring man, by the work of his hand and the sweat of his brow having gotten a little money, was desirous to have a place to rest himself in old age, and therefore invested it in some acres of wasteland and began to build a house thereon, near a barrow named Broken Burrow, in the parish of Chalacombe, near the Blackmoor Gate, from which he fetched stones and earth to further his work. Having pierced into the bowels of the hillock, he found therein a little place, as if it had been a large oven, fairly closely and strongly walled up, which comforted him much, hoping that there might be some treasure there hidden to maintain him more liberally and with less labour in his old years. Wherewith encouraged, he plied his work earnestly until he had broken a hole through this wall, in the cavity of which he espied an earthen pot, which caused him to multiply his efforts until he might make the orifice large enough to take out the pot, which his earnest desire made not long a-doing. But as he thrust his arm and fastened his arm thereon, he suddenly heard, or seemed to hear, the noise of the trampling of horses coming, as he thought, towards him, which caused him to forbear and arise from the place, fearing those coming would take his prize from him, for he had assured himself that it was treasure. But looking about every way to see what company this was, he saw neither horse nor man in view. To the pot again he goes, and had the like success a second time, and yet, looking about, could see nothing. At the third time he brought it out, and therein only a few ashes and bones, as if they had been of children or the like. But the man, whether by the fear, which yet he denied, or other cause which I cannot comprehend, in a very short time after lost the sense of both sight and hearing, and in less than 3 months consuming, died. And on that rather uncheery note, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly subscribe. And you can also support the channel on Subscribestar via the link in the description or via YouTube Super Thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.